What's up, guys? I said I was going to do it, so here I am. I'm going to do it. And this time, I want to talk about James Cameron's Aliens. This time, it's war. Um, James Cameron's follow up to Ridley Scott's sci fi horror masterpiece. I believe this came out in 1986, a good, I think, 7 years after original. And it's a very different film. It's still very much an alien flick, and it's still a very good movie, but it's definitely more of a kind of a straight action movie than either sci-fi or horror. And there's fewer surprises in this because, like the face hugger is not going to be a surprise this time. Stuff like that. It's like I said, it's a very fun movie, but I think it's a little bit long, and I just kind of prefer more of a horror approach for this franchise. But this is the second best, even though I prefer the horror approach. Um, what can I say about it? Everything's already been said. What I like about it, the action is it's very fun in the second half. Um, and this one has more memorable characters than the original, especially Bill Paxton, who's just a really great fun character. I forgot his name in it, but he's just always saying stupid stuff and like, game over, man, game over. He just turns into a total puss when shit starts going down. I like what's his name as Hicks. I think his name's Michael Biehn from the Terminator movies. I'd say I put this up there with this is one of James Cameron's best. Um, I like the original Terminator a little bit more, but this is definitely up there. And I like James Cameron right up until Avatar, which I hated. I hated Avatar, and I hate the idea that that's all he wants to do now. What the fuck? But I like Terminator 2. I like Aliens. I like True Lies. I even like Titanic. I mean, the first time I saw that in the theater, it was a great movie. Um, Anyways, so back to Aliens. Uh, Here's the thing about it. It's long, and I think it has a little too slow of a build up. Now I watched the theatrical version and the director's cut, which is even longer, and I feel like there's like an ultimate version of this movie to be had that still hasn't been had. I feel like the stuff that they cut out of the director's cut was actually really good, like good stuff, like you finding out that Sigourney Weaver Ripley she had a daughter who because Ripley's been in stasis for so long, her daughter has lived her life and is dead now. I just think it just added more to Ripley as a character, and it added more to her relationship with the little girl Newt, who's kind of annoying in it, but whatever. I just thought that story element should have not been removed for the sake of time. There's also like that. There's like a turret sequence when they're on the colony or whatever, which I thought was suspenseful and fun. The way you're watching the bullet count go down, and like this stuff didn't have to be cut. I mean, some of it should have been cut, but some of it, like the two things I mentioned, those should have been left in. They should have cut other stuff out from Aliens to make a shorter, tighter, faster paced film. Because to me, the build up in this one is just too slow. It's just too slow. It takes too long, and there's not much happening. Just some of the stuff with them getting ready to go to the colony to investigate it. And for people who haven't seen this or haven't seen it in a while, the plot of this one is basically Ripley's been in stasis since the first film for decades, I think. Um, they find her, they wake her up, the Wayland Corporation questions her about what happened, and that's one thing that stuck out to me that was weird. She's like, "Well, there was an alien on this planet that we went to. It got on board, killed my entire crew, and I had to blow up the ship to try to kill it and to escape and whatnot." And they're like, that doesn't. There's no evidence of that, and they think that she's like nuts, and they like take away her license or whatever. And I was just like, why wouldn't they believe it? I understand it was decades earlier, but there have to be records in the corporation showing that they told that crew to go there, the crew of the Nostromo to go there and investigate it. And they sent a direct order to the android telling him to get the specimen, the crew's expendable. So it's not like the Wayland Corporation didn't know that there was something there. I mean, I don't get why they'd be like, "Oh, you're crazy." But anyways, and then they're like, there's people that have been colonizing that area for decades, and they're fine. But then those people go missing, I guess, and the Wayland Corporation wants to send them out to investigate it. So they convince her to come along as an expert on these creatures, if the creatures are real. And, she agrees to it because if she'll do it, they'll give her her license back. And she kind of wants to get over her fear of these things. She's having nightmares and stuff. So she goes with a crew of colonial marines. And, from there on out. And then there's a little bit more building up of, like, them searching the place. But then from there on out, it's, like, just straight action of, Ripley and the Marines versus the aliens. And it's a lot of fun from there on out. But I just felt it was too slow of a build-up. Even with the stuff that... I think there's the opening scene is her having this dream where a chest burster or whatever, like the alien bursts out of her. What was the point of it? There's no point of the scene. It really isn't. They could have cut that. They could have cut some of the bullshit with the Marines talking and goofing around with each other. I know you could say that it's like helping establish their characters, but there's too much of it, okay? And their characters come out during the action anyways. Bill Paxton, that's when he becomes the best. So I just feel like they could have cut a little bit out. And then left some of the director's cut stuff in. I think the Hefe, the Just Some Dude 899 cut would be the best. Well, other than that, it's a very good film. The special effects in this one hold up just fine, I thought. It looks great. It's fun. It's exciting. It's the second best of the series, in my opinion. Like I said, different than what I usually want, but still good. I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, the aliens still look cool on this one. And I'm mentioning this about the aliens. They still look cool. They're not as scary because there's so many of them, and they're just getting like blown up by fucking bullets every time you see them. There's just a lot of shots of just aliens getting blown to bits by their pulse rifles or whatever the fuck they're called. But I mentioned that because I thought Alien looked great. The Xenomorph looked amazing in the original Alien, and they look cool here. The effect is a little bit diminished here because there's so many of them, but it's still, honestly, I think it's the best creature, like, monster design ever, and definitely credit goes to H.R. Giger for that. But I also mention it, too, because I think that the Xenomorph in parts of Alien 3 really looks like shit. And I guess I'll talk about that more when I talk about Alien 3, which I'm going to probably watch again pretty soon. Anyways, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, that's my only like nitpicks and whatnot about it. It's still a really great, fun film. I'm gonna give it like, this might be blasphemy. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. I just don't like it as much as the original Alien. The original Alien, I think, is just amazing. But there is a lot of fun to be had here, and definitely more memorable characters. And if you're into action, you're gonna enjoy this one more than the original. So, one of the few sequels that could be considered better than the original, and it holds up very well today. The film holds up, doesn't look aged at all on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. So that's about it for this time. I will say that I did see Prometheus, and I'll share my thoughts about that soon. Anyways, thanks for watching.